Howdy y'all, Andy here, and welcome to another edition of King's Comics. Anime fans rejoice, that's right, Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba has finally dropped on Netflix. Well, at least season 1. It was one of my favorite shonen anime of the past several years. I loved it so much, but I haven't gotten to talk about it just yet. So this is as good a time as any to give my review and my thoughts on Kimetsu no Yaiba Season 1. To kick things off, let's talk about what it's actually about. Demon Slayer starts off with brother and sister Tanjiro and Nezuko living a happy life up in the mountains, gathering and selling charcoal. However, everything goes awry as a mysterious demon attacks and slaughters Tanjiro's entire family. Well, all except for Nezuko, who has now been turned into a very powerful demon. From there, we find out about the demon slaying core and Tanjiro's quest to become a demon slayer in order to hunt down the demon that killed his family and to turn his sister back into a human. I've already mentioned that I like the show, but let's talk about why I like it and what I like about it. First and foremost, the characters are just very innocent and pure, or at least Tanjiro is. I love how bright-eyed he is and how much his resolve as a protagonist stays true. He's not corrupted in any way, and he just has a very clear vision of helping others, being kind to others, even having sympathy and empathy for the demons he meets and faces. This is also true and apparent in Nezuko, who, while getting converted into a demon, retains some aspect of her humanity in wanting to protect other humans as well as Tanjiro. We then get into the cast of characters that Tanjiro meets while on this quest. We get into the cowardly Zenitsu, the wild and over-the-top Inosuke, as well as the Hashira, or the pillars of the demon slaying core. But one of the most unique elements of this anime that I love is the combat system. Humans aren't naturally as strong or fast or powerful as demons, so they have to use what's known as breathing, or breath styles. These are special forms of, in essence, sword techniques in order to fight demons, or at least to try and get as close to their strength and power. This includes water breathing, lightning breathing, even beast breathing that Inosuke uses. These different styles of using their swords and techniques to fight and combat demons. These demons, of course, only being able to be killed by sunlight or by having their heads sliced off with one of the swords that the characters are equipped with in the series. Now we move on to the demons and the villains. All the demons that are presented are interesting because of the fact that they have some elements of their former humanity that make them somewhat easy to sympathize with, or I guess to empathize with, at least from Tanjiro's point of view. We find out some of their backstories and we gain this aspect of learning why or how they became a demon. We also come to find out that there is one creator or one father of all demons in Muzan Kibetsuji, who is, bad to the bone, evil, ruthless. And he makes a great villain because at the end of the day, at least in this season, we see that he is completely fanatical towards his goal of living forever and hunting down Tanjiro and Nezuko. And of course, I just have to take a moment to say that the animation is breathtaking. I don't usually like CGI in anime, but this series incorporates it so little and so infrequently that it shows that CGI and 3D animation can be used in anime without taking it over or ruining the art style or the animation. It's also beautiful because you can see all the expressions on characters' faces. The combat animation is beautiful, and everything just seems to flow together, and it seemed like no shortcuts were taken in drawing out this journey of our heroes. So it's clear what I liked about the series, or at least I hope so. So what didn't I like about the series? Honestly, not a lot. I'm not the greatest critic of things or media in general, but this series I think just has such a fresh take in my heart that I love it. I do admit that. I finished the manga earlier last year, and I enjoyed the ride all throughout. That does not change for this series, which did get me into the manga actually, in the fact that if I have to nitpick anything, it can be that we didn't get enough fleshing out of the Hashira. These are the leaders of the demon slaying core that I mentioned earlier, but that's kind of setting this up for the movie that got released last year, at least in Japan, that chronicles the Infinite Train arc of the manga. This also sets the foundation for a sequel season that I've been waiting for or waiting to hear back about. But alas, nothing yet. I also do not like, as I mentioned, CGI incorporated into anime. It makes it hard for me to watch things like Grappler Baki or even Kengan Ashura. But at the same time, there was very little CGI in this show. And the little amount that there was almost hard to tell in some cases. So it actually helped the animation, if anything, to incorporate this CGI and 3D animation. Overall, I didn't have a lot to say from a negative aspect of the series. It's even something that, if you recommend it to non-anime watchers, it seems like a great starter anime for them. Which is awesome because some anime can be a little weird or off-putting to the, non-anime community. All that to say, this is a great show. As I mentioned, it's an anime I'd recommend to anyone, whether someone who's watched anime for years or someone who's looking for new anime to pick up or to get into anime. That makes it fun. It's a fun ride, a fun first season that I think sets up a lot of possibility for this series to go on for multiple seasons and hopefully adapt the rest of the manga, which has concluded as of last summer, which honestly makes it probably the best thing of 2020 in my opinion, but hey, moving on. That's a quick and short review of my thoughts on the Demon Slayer anime, or at least season 1. I'm still waiting to watch the Demon Slayer movie, which apparently has only been released in Japan so far, and as of this video, has become the top grossing animated film in Japan, even beating out Hayao Miyazaki movies. So all that to say, thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of King's Comics. If you like this episode, y'all, please hit that like button or drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And if you really like this episode, please feel free to share it or hit that subscribe button. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll be talking to y'all again real soon.